It is no longer seemly for us on the true right of society to continue bickering with each other or with anybody else. Whether via legalist or extra-legal means, the struggle against the left, liberalism, equality, progress has been lost. The battle was lost long before now, but the inevitability of our loss was sealed only in the last century, as one by one, conservatives surrendered to the forces of the left while insisting that their capitulation was pragmatic and therefore correct, thus failing to conserve anything. It is difficult, though sometimes comical, to see civic nationalists bicker with ethno-nationalists over whose ideas are more absurd, or to watch libertarians dominate the sparse limelight of political discussion, furthering the cause of Enlightenment degradation with their almost cult-like devotion to materialist capitalism. More difficult still is to watch the legions of social outcasts proudly claiming the title of reactionary, to the dismay of those of us who really understand why and how Western society arrived at its present point. Such things are the campfire embers of a defeated army, unwilling to accept that it must now turn itself away from the field of honour and into the hedgerows and tunnels. Only partisan action manifested in small, quiet, aristocratic circles dedicated to reading, writing, and propagating sacred truths are now appropriate. Even the smallest pieces of reactionary thought become grenades when tossed into the progressive milieu. The Europe and the West that many on the right make it their mission to defend is long gone. No economic shock therapy, racial pogroms, emigration to the East, or civic nationalism will bring it back. One might say that we are headed for a long stay in the Arctic, and we do not know when we shall return. The only course of action is to ensure you and you alone are kitted out for survival. Ensure that you cannot be swayed by progressive or false right rhetoric. Ensure that your library is well stocked and that philosophy ceases to be a simple hobby, but becomes a constant occupation of your mind. Although, after hearing this, despair might seem a tempting option, you must not do so. As any advocate of tradition knows, the current state of Western society is not one that can be sustained, and sooner or later it will begin to falter. Even if it hurts, you must turn your back on Europe. Europe is lost, but you must turn your mind towards Europe, the Europe that we might build in the future. We will know when we can return to such a Europe when society comes to its senses, when unjust inequality is not daubed with equality, but just inequality. When the university is a place of genuine eternal learning and not merely a school of progressive ideology, handing out party membership cards. When the bourgeois class is put back in its place and the aristocratic hierarchy of society is restored. When lawmakers no longer seek to solve problems, but ennoble them. When the privilege is bestowed instead of the right. When the local overbalances the central. When such things are restored, we can again return from the Arctic and take custody of the world we once lost. But for now, as I said, the fight is over.